When I tell you I've had a cultural shock, I mean it. In South Africa, the way they cook the ugali is totally different. The last time they ate a Kenyan ugali, it was really hard, okay? That you could throw it to the wall and it will bounce back at you. When I tell you I've had a cultural shock, I mean it. The last time I was in South Africa with a South African babe in the kitchen as well as a Zambian, I was really shocked on how they make the ugali, okay? In South Africa, I noticed the way they cook the ugali is totally different in the way Kenyans cook the ugali, okay? And I will be showing you that in a few. However, let me tell you a joke, okay? So this Zambian was telling me that the last time they ate a Kenyan ugali, it was really hard, okay? That you could actually throw it to the wall and it will bounce back at you. Anywho, so I learned how to make South African ugali, or what they call PAP. And today I'm going to show you how to make South African PAP in Kenya, what we call ugali. In South Africa they call it PAP. I think in Zimbabwe they call it nzima, you know. Different countries call it different things, but it's the same way. However, I've noticed the process of cooking it is totally different. So let's make South African ugali. So with the South African PAP or ugali, they just start by boiling some water, the same way we do start by boiling water here in Kenya. However, the next step that I'm going to share with you is what is going to make the difference, okay? So, fun fact, did you know that you can actually increase the shelf life of your maize flour by actually preserving it in a container like this and putting it in the fridge? If you didn't know, I guess you know. So this is how I preserve my flour, because I don't eat ugali almost like every day. So if I want it to stay longer so that it doesn't spoil, I usually put it in the freezer. So yeah. I will be using Raha Premium ugali flour, okay? This is what I usually use and I love it because it's white, it's tasty, and it's amazing. So I'm just gonna refill some in my container. As you can see, this is what I'm currently left with, so I'm just gonna add more to my container and then I will use the rest and preserve the rest, okay? Right, so I'm going to use the remaining flour, and then this one I'll preserve it for later. While our water is currently boiling here, what we are going to do, we're going to mix some okay, in water, right? So we're going to add some water and mix this. So I know it looks like we're making porridge, but we're actually making ugali, okay? So we Kenyans, we don't know how to measure. We just wait for our ancestors to tell us it's enough, or you just measure with your eyes. But yeah, so we're gonna have a paste like this, okay? And the next, so you know the Kenyan style, usually you just wait for the water to boil, pour in your flour, mix it, leave it for some seconds, and your ugali is ready to go. So the South African way, you actually boil some water, mix a paste of the flour like this, and what we're gonna do while the water is still heating up, we're gonna add this into our pot, okay? And then we are going to mix this together, okay? While it's still eating up. Definitely looks like we are making porridge, but trust the process. We are making South African PAP ugali, okay? So we're just gonna stir this until we have like a thick consistency, okay? Right. So as you can see, so now we have a thick consistency like this. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna cover this and let it to cook for some time, okay? So this is the consistency that we are looking for, okay? Make sure your ugali is running like this. We're gonna give it about 5 minutes for it to cook, and then we are going to go back and now continuously add flour as we mix again until we now have a very thick, or should I say a bit solid paste. All right, so our ugali or our South African PAP has cooked for about 5 minutes, and now we're just gonna stir it again, as you can see. So when you cover it, it becomes a bit hard, as you can see. Okay, and at this point we're gonna add more flour, okay, to the mixture. So we're just gonna mix this, okay. So we're just gonna continue mixing this, okay, and then leave it for another 5 minutes covered under low heat so that it can continue the cooking process. So what this does, or what I noticed when you cook ugali in this way, it becomes very, very, very soft. All right, our ugali or our PAP is almost done. So we're just gonna cover it for another 5 minutes, and then we're going to come back and mix it or stir it again, okay? It's 5 minutes later, and now I believe our ugali or PAP is ready. So let's look at it. So as you can see, our PAP has now hardened, okay? I can assure you, this PAP is definitely soft. This one, when you take a piece, okay? This one, when you take a piece and throw it against the wall, be sure that this one is not coming back to hit you, okay? This one is definitely gonna stick, okay? But it is ready, and it's time to take it out. So we are done making our ugali, and it's time to take it back to the fridge. As I told you, this is the best way to preserve your maize flour if you want to increase your shelf life. Now, let's take our ugali out and serve.